Let's make some lists, starting at the top and going to the bottom, baby. The top and bottom list with Ed and Andy. Let's make some lists, starting at the top and going to the bottom, baby. The top and bottom list with Lance and Andy.
Welcome to the top and bottom list with Lance.
And Andy?
Yeah, I thought you were going to miss your cue there.
I thought you were going to introduce me.
Oh, you forgot your name.
Yeah.
So, but welcome. Yes, this is the season 2, episode 2. And I think this is going to be part of a series. We're not going to do them in a row, but we decided that we're going to take a look at some of the greatest albums of all time. But we're going to start going by decades.
Yes, this is finally one I'm interested in.
And decades that we were alive
Yes.
in? Are we going to go further back or just decades that we actually are alive in?
This is the first podcast we've done that I'm interested in. This, what number is this?
You know, I think they could tell, too.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
you could
excited
tell
about this one.
from the effort you put forward in the past. But
Exactly.
we were both born in the 70s, so that's why we
Yes.
decided to start with the 70s. But next time we're not going to do the 80s, but eventually we'll probably do most of them.
So you said we're doing our top albums of the 70s.
Yeah, well, top albums are top albums. I mean, we'll get into it. I know you wanted to say us on the first, then we'll talk about how we chose ours.
Well, it's interesting, the 70s. First of all, I'm at a disadvantage here because I was only alive for 9 years in the 70s, where you were alive for the whole decade. So you know more about 70s music than I do.
Yes, I don't expect you to have anything from the year 1970
No.
because, I remember those well.
But I was looking at my research. I did a lot of research, and the 70s were a big time for albums. So Rolling Stone magazine always does like top 500 albums of all time.
Yes.
And they renew it every 5 to 10 years. But the 70s hold 30% of the top albums. Either like it's between 31 or 37% are from the 70s, more than the 60s and 80s combined.
Just a question on that, just what you think. So I get the 60s and 80s. We had albums. We'll start getting into the 90s. We had the CDs. But nowadays, are there any new albums? Because, do people really buy albums anymore? Or
there's still a lot of zeros on that
full
list.
albums?
Yeah, Taylor Swift just released one a couple of days ago.
Yeah, but really, people listen to one song. They go to Spotify, listen to one song, or they purchase one song. It's not like it used to be.
Yeah, in the 70s, it was really a strange time for music. So you had disco, but you also had punk.
Yeah.
You had classic rock. A lot of Southern rock with Leonard Skinner and all those bands. A lot of singer-songwriters, like you had James Taylor. The Bee Gees were a big band in the 70s. Elton John. A lot of these things. And I'll go over later on maybe Rolling Stones' top ones. Well, I'll say one. It's not in our list. Rolling Stones' #1 album of all time from the 70s, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On?
Actually, I had that and I took it off. I was trying to decide to, and it was probably my number 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get into more of their stuff too, because I don't know what your list is. You don't know mine, but we'll get into that later on. But a lot of big bands in the 70s. There you go. That's my lead-in.
Yeah, thanks. You see that? He does care about this one. He did the research this time.
I did.
But I just want to talk about how we chose ours because, a lot of them were ones that I like or disliked, depending on the list that we're talking about. But I tried to look at the influence, and I do like a big variety of music, and the 70s had that, where you had, sort of at the beginning of the 70s, coming out of Vietnam, you had that protest music, that was cerebral and pretty complicated type of stuff. And then an answer to that was sort of the disco, fun times and all that. Then we had the whole, more of the black music with the soul and the Stevie Wonders and the Marvin Gayes. But the punk that came out of that time too, that was sort of an answer to the disco because disco was so vapid. Yep. It was sort of an anarchy, standing up against it. Maybe a return back to the early days where there were, anti-government songs. But they just had so many different types of music.
Yeah, I think because we had our friends comment on this, I think most of them are not going to like my list. But 3 of my 5 albums are on Rolling Stone's top albums of all time.
Sure.
And one is a huge seller. One that's not on their list is a huge seller. And one is a top artist of all time.
Yeah. Well, I did base mine off of some of the most popular ones, and I probably had about 20. And then I started looking at the albums themselves and seeing how many songs did I really like on those albums.
Yep.
And so that really, especially when I got down to my top 5, that helped me order my top 5 by how much I liked on all of them. So, but anyway, anything else you want to add before we get into it?
No, I'm ready to go.
Okay, let's start from the top.
Let's start from the top, from the top, from the top, from the top. Let's start from the top, from the top. Let's start from the top, from the top, from the top, from the top.
All right, you go first this time. What you got
All
as your
right.
number 5 best album from the 70s.
In the 70s. So this artist is one of my top 5 artists of all time. And you don't know it, so
Oh.
you can guess it.
Yeah,
So it's his 3rd album, and it's a he.
his, and it's
The
a
first 2
single.
albums were kind of disappointing.
I'm not going to guess because I don't want to ruin it. I want you to have your setup.
And the 3rd album, it had to be a hit. And it was a hit, even though it's not a lot of hits on it.
Just to see if I know it. Did I
Yes.
just recently buy you albums by this person?
Yes, you did.
2, I think I gave
Yes.
you. Okay, so I know who it is.
say
I'm
it.
going to say.
Say,
That's Bruce Springsteen.
yes, Born to Run from
Yes.
1976. And right now, I'm in a big Bruce mode too because the new movie's coming out about
Sure.
the making of Nebraska. So Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen, his 3rd album, 1975. It was number 21 on Rolling Stone's top albums of all time. It's when he was determined to make a great album. And here's what they say about it. He produced a timeless, inspiring record about the labors and glories of aspiring to greatness.
I like your narrator voice. I like how you changed that.
You like that?
Yes.
Well, that way you know it wasn't my words, right? I was
Yeah,
quoting
I
somebody.
like that because you guys can't see. He's holding quotes up around his head,
Yep.
but you can't see that.
In 2003, Born to Run was added to the National Registry or Recording Registry by the Library of Congress for being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. So there you go. It's not just me being a Bruce fan. People out there like it. It's also not my favorite Bruce album. It is Born USA.
Yeah,
sorry.
that's 80, so it doesn't
I
count
know.
here. I expect to see that next time.
But true Bruce fans like Born to
No,
Run.
it is a
and-
good album,
And
yeah.
also Darkest Edge of Town. So, but Matthew also, it's like stupid here. Matthew Taub argued that Born to Run is probably the single best rock album of the 70s and easily one of the best, finest ever recorded. I don't know what that is, but I thought it was
Yeah,
funny. It's a quote. Matthew Taub said that.
And he's probably 22 years old now.
Yeah.
He's,
but
I don't know what he's talking about.
This album includes some of my best Bruce Springsteen songs besides Born to Run.
Sure.
I love Thunder Road. I love 10th Avenue Freeze Out.
Tenth Avenue freeze out. Tenth Avenue freeze out.
I love the songs in it, Backstreets, all that stuff. So yes, it is a good album. I listened to it last night. Thank you for giving it to me. So yes, Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen.
I don't even own that album. I bought it for you because you told me to keep a lookout for Bruce Springsteen albums. But yeah, I mean, there's at least 3 songs on there that I'm very familiar with.
There you
But
go.
no, that's a great album, and I see
Thank
no
you.
problem with that. So you ready for my number 5?
Number 5, what you got?
My number 5 is Never Mind the Bollocks. Here's the Sex Pistols from 1977. The Sex Pistols, they only made one album.
Yep.
And they were credited with starting the punk movement, at least in the UK, but pretty much worldwide. They're credited with it. I mean, any music form evolves. So, they were one of the early ones, we can say, and they were some of the pioneers. I won't say they invented punk.
Yeah, I'm going to say punk started in New York in the 70s.
Yeah.
Clash, Television, those bands.
Well, the Clash is
Not
British.
Clash, I'm sorry. I'll say the Ramones. The Ramones.
Yeah, the Ramones.
The
And,
Ramones are
yeah.
CBGB in New York.
Yeah, so I mean, but it was happening on both sides,
Yes.
And one reason why I did choose them is because of their influence on punk music. That many punk bands to this day cite them as one of the most influential bands for what they do. And like a true punk band, they spoke to power. I mean, their 2 biggest songs on that album are Anarchy in the UK. And God Save the Queen.
Yep.
I mean, I like the entire album, but those 2 songs are standout songs, and they're all about that punk attitude. As I said, sort of contrary to the popular disco at the time. It had these raw messages, and they lived it that way too.
Yeah, they probably were the biggest, punk band. By that meaning they lived it. They lived the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Where the Clash was more political. The Ramones kind of made fast, poppy songs. They lived the lifestyle of that.
They lived the lifestyle, but I would say the Clash were really more political, probably believed in it more, and we'll get into that later about how the Sex Pistols were kind of put together. But but they did get all those things right. I mean, they didn't just define punk as music; they defined it as a style. Their snotty attitude, the lyrics they had, the vocals, what they wore, the way they acted on stage, the way they acted with each other, which probably a lot of it was real because I don't think they liked each other a whole lot at times.
Yeah, they weren't really real musicians.
Yeah, and that was an argument with that. They weren't really real musicians, so it was just the catchiness and the grittiness and all those things drove people to their music. It wasn't just the music. But John Linden did want to get serious, and John Linden, obviously.
Johnny Rotten?
Yeah, Johnny Rotten.
That's what I call him, yeah.
And I call him John Linden because I knew him later also. But he wanted to get more serious about it. And while they were touring here in the United States, they had an argument, and the rest of the band said, no, we like what we're doing. We're getting messed up. We're just singing our songs, and we're touring the world. And he's like, no, I want to take it further. I want to do more with our musical abilities. And they left him. They left him and went to Brazil, left him in the United States to fend for himself. But eventually, he did emerge again, especially with Public Image Limited, because that's one of my favorite. I mean, it's a band I like a lot from the 80s.
Okay.
I can name like 10 songs by them.
I can know one song for them.
Yeah, so they're not going to make my list of top 80s bands, not by far.
We'll see.
But I like Public Image Limited. So Johnny Rotten left them. But they're also in the news again because they started a world tour.
I mean, recently?
Yes, they started a world tour without Johnny Rotten because they don't get along, but they had to cancel it or postpone it because somebody got hurt. This was just last week, I think.
So like two guys that are still around then, because Sid Vicious, I guess they got the original bass player. Maybe he's still around.
Yeah, and I picked them because of the influence they had, and I do like that album. So that's my number 5.
There's a good documentary on them. I don't know if it's on Hulu, wherever it is. I forgot what it's called, but is it not a documentary? It's it's a real mini-series.
And I think it's named Never Mind the Bullocks, or I forget the name of it. But yeah, it's a mini-series. Yeah, and you learn a lot of cool things about the band in that. And they even sort of admit in that they don't know a whole lot about playing instruments because of the Pretenders, lead singer of the Pretenders.
Yeah. Christy Hine.
Yeah, Christy Hine actually knew them, and she worked in Malcolm McLaren, who was their producer, and put them together. She worked in his store, and one of the members of the band had quit, and they needed a new guitarist, and she was an incredible guitarist, but they chose somebody else, and she was all upset about it. But her boyfriend, who was in the band, said, "You're too good. Yeah. You actually know what you're doing. You're a competent musician, and we don't want you in our band because not that they make them look bad, but they drag her down with that. Yeah. Well, so I mean, I'm not saying they're one of the greatest bands ever, but the influence they had, and I do like their music.
And that is a good choice. And I had that album too back when I was in my early 20s and angry. I played it a lot. It was a good scream music to play.
And I'm pretty sure I have all the albums we talk about except for the bottom list on vinyl now.
I think, I don't, but.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my number 5. Never mind the Bullocks. Here's the Sex Pistols.
Okay.
Let you know. You are number 4.
My number 4? So my number 4, no one shared, even though your brother said one of this guy's albums. So this artist is mostly known for his great, amazing work in the 80s.
Sure.
But he did release 2 albums in the 70s when he was in his late teens, early 20s. He's my favorite artist of all time, and his name is Prince Rogers Nelson.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him? Okay, no. Well, this album's called Prince from 1979.
So that must be his first album, right?
No, the second album. His first album was kind of like, he's 18 years old, and they had a producer kind of over-published it.
His first album was For You, and it did have Soft and Wet on it.
Yeah, it's listenable.
And I'm a big Prince fan. Prince is my number 1 artist also. You probably know this from a previous show.
But his second album is where he kind of found his voice. I mean, he has funk in there. He has some metal with the song Bambi, some soft ballads. But the album also includes 2 of my favorite Prince songs. If not top 5, they're top 10. It's Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad, and I Want to Be Your
Lover.
I want to be your lover. I want to be the only one that makes you come running. I want to be your lover.
Which and that all thing people got confused because they thought it was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I Want to Be Your Lover back then.
By the way, if you want to watch those, watch an old YouTube video from American Bandstand of Prince singing, really lip syncing, I Want to Be Your Lover and Why Don't You Be So Bad. And then Dick Clark interviews Prince, and Prince does the most awkward interview.
Yeah, he almost all his interviews are awkward throughout his career.
He didn't want to talk to him, but so, yes. It also includes I Feel For You, made popular later on with Shaka Khan. It's Gonna Be Lonely, a good slow song. Bambi, a big rock song. Sexy Dancer, a big funk song. So yeah, it's a good listenable album,
And
I like it.
and it really is showing what he's going to be. You know, he's got those dirty songs, but he's got that. You know, he's got different styles of music, and you know, it shows his range. You know, right from his second album, which I agree with you. For You is probably not in my top 10 Prince albums, but and I didn't put Prince on this list. I figured you would, so I didn't have to. But when I talk about Prince, you know, you say who's my number one artist of all time. I don't just. It's obvious it's Prince, so I just start at number 2.
Yeah, and look, so in this album is also not my top Prince album, just like Bruce Springsteen. So if we do top 8 albums of the 80s, I'm sure you may hear Bruce again, and you'll definitely hear Prince again.
You definitely, all 10 of yours will be Prince.
Yep.
So did he have 10 albums?
Even
in
the
80s?
bottom.
Yeah, I'm sure
Even
he
the
did.
bottom will be Prince.
Okay, so that was your number 4.
Number four.
Now over to my number 4, which is kind of weird because my number 4 is also Led Zeppelin number 4.
Oh, okay. I get
Yes, put out in 1971, and it was an immediate critical and commercial success. And a lot of times when the band's most popular song, which I do believe it's probably their most popular song, is on that album, and usually the rest of the album just kind of falls off after that song. Because you'll see when I get to my bottom list, one album has just an incredible song, or most popular song, their most popular song, but it falls off after that.
I'm curious now.
Yeah. So of course, what's Led Zeppelin's most popular song? According to you?
Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway to Heaven is on this album. Just a little bit more on them. They sold 37 million copies worldwide, and it's one of the best-selling albums ever in the United States. So critics liked it. People bought it up. And I like it a lot because it has a diversity of songs. I mean, Led Zeppelin, you learn a lot about Led Zeppelin, and you realize why they're considered the masters and so great at it. Because as you're listening to this, you know, you have heavy metal, you have folk, you have some pure rock and roll, not as much
blues.
and blues in there, and that's all on this album as you go from song to song. And that's why there's a lot of artists who are really, really well known, but every one of their songs sound the same to me. I'm not going to say any names; they're not on my list, but they all sound the same, even though some of those songs are massive hits. But Led Zeppelin, you listen to this entire album, and you're getting all these different types of music with that.
Yes, recognizable. I think Black Dog's on there, Rock and Roll.
Yep.
Are on that album, and of course Stairway to Heaven.
When the Levee Breaks.
If it keeps on raining, levee's gonna break. If it keeps on raining, levee's going to break. When the levee breaks, have no place to stay.
Led Zeppelin, obviously, this is entitled 4. So obviously they had other albums before this, but this is widely considered to be their best album. A lot of bands, their first album might be their best album, given that they spent their whole life making that first album. And the second album they made in a year. But Led Zeppelin really found themselves on this album.
No, and look, I like Zeppelin, not as much as my friends do. Maybe they're older than me. They really got into, like, Zeppelin's a great band. I never really owned their albums. I
Sure.
kind of had like their box set.
Yeah.
So no album stood out to me because I had the greatest hits kind of their 4-disc box set.
I had that too when I was in college.
Yep.
Yeah, I had that.
Let me say this too. Like, I grew up with 2 older sisters.
Yep.
So in the 70s, when my friends were listening to Led Zeppelin and early Van Halen and Black Sabbath and Leonard Skinner, I was listening to ABBA, Donna
Sure.
Summer, the Bee Gees, Andy Gibb. So none of them are on my list, I don't think, what I said.
Yeah, I didn't get a lot of those. I have 3 older
Yeah,
brothers.
older brothers. So I didn't listen to the classic
Yeah.
rock until I got, later in life.
And I got into Styx back then, but Styx didn't even make my list. Yes.
A lot of
and I
people
love
put
Styx.
Styx on our fan view. They put Styx Grand Illusion on our stuff.
And it is a good album, and I like all of Styx.
Yep.
Styx's stuff.
And I didn't choose Zeppelin because they plagiarized all our songs. Like Stairway to Heaven. Once again, you could YouTube this. Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin plagiarized. It was taken from, like, I think another song when Jimmy Page was in a band, and his person in the band played the song, and he goes, "I'm going to take that, mate."
Yeah, but did the guy write the backwards lyrics so that way you have to worship the devil in
Nope.
Led Zeppelin? You
That
can
was
look that
the
up on
point.
YouTube too, where you play it backwards and it says "Our Sweet Satan" and stuff like that on there.
How could you put that on your list? How dare
How dare I?
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, that was mine. It's Led Zeppelin, number 4, which, and I would say probably if we did the greatest bands of all time, I think because of all the different types and sounds they had, Led Zeppelin would have to be up there.
Yeah. So my number 3, I'm segueing into it,
Yep.
okay? Like, my friends and probably everybody would say, well, any of my top 3 should not be above Led Zeppelin 4. It's embarrassing.
Sure. Yeah.
But my number 3 it's not a big album, but it's sold more than probably any album on our list. I don't know what your next ones are, but my next one, number 3, top 70s album, only 10 albums have sold
wait.
over 40 million
Is
copies.
it a soundtrack?
Nope.
Okay.
Let me give it a tease.
I'm just guessing. I'm
All
not
right,
gonna-
you can still guess. Only 10 albums have sold over 40 million copies.
Okay.
All right. And 6 of those are from the 70s. You have Pink Floyd, you have Two Egos, you have Fleetwood Mac Rumors, Saturday Night Fever, and this album right here. This album,
See, I was guessing Saturday Night Fever.
nope. It started as a musical, a futuristic rock version of Peter Pan that was written by Jim Steinman in a workshop. All right. Nothing yet?
No.
So it's, like I said, it's one of the top selling albums of all time. It's still the top selling debut album by any artist in
wow.
in the UK. Here's the last
Oh,
teaser.
I'm
You'll-
lost.
You'll know. You and I saw this person in concert in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Bad Out of Hell.
So it is Meatloaf, Bad Out of Hell,
Yeah.
which is a great album. I stand by it. My true friends out there who like
Sure.
music like it. It really is a great album. I like it a lot. It's good. It's a good driving album too. It's like pumped up music, good ballads. I love Jim Steinman's writing. Like his style is like operatic, and has a lot of double entendres. I mean, think about it. Like, so yeah, Bad Out of Hell. You took the words right out of my mouth. Paradise by the Dashboard Light. But this one is 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I like that a lot. It sold 43 million copies, 4 times platinum in the United States. I really like the album. And really, if you think about it, it's like his greatest hits. Like after that, he didn't have really a hit album
Yeah.
until Bad Out of Hell Part 2, which only had really one good song.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, don't forget Hot Patootie from Rocky Horror either.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, I like Meatloaf. I like this album. I like the slow songs. I like the fast songs. I like the wordplay that he writes, Jim Steinman. And by the way, if you don't know Jim Steinman, so this was like his debut album too with not Bruce Springsteen, with Meatloaf, but he also wrote songs for Celine Dion, Air Supply. He wrote Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler. And I mentioned earlier Bruce Springsteen. It sounds dumb, but this album was compared to Bruce Springsteen music, and 2 members of the E Street Band played on this album, including Max Weinberg, the drummer.
Sure. And Max Weinberg later on became famous being Conan's,
yeah.
Conan O'Brien's leader.
So yes, so if anybody out there who judges me on this, go listen to it. Put the album on Spotify or buy it and listen to it. It's great.
Yeah, and I got to say that, I always thought Meatloaf, I like some of his songs, but after you and I went to go see him in Vegas, the dude was old and he put on a show and he sounded so good
Yes.
with that. And at that point, yeah, it raised my level that I like Meatloaf, a little bit more, because I was actually, when you said let's go see Meatloaf, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
So-
and because he's not everybody's cup of tea. I liked him growing up. I guess my mom, my Aunt Jo really liked him a lot, and so indirectly I liked him.
So, okay, so we're on mine.
You're
My
number
number
three.
three. My
Top
number
that.
3. I'm going to describe this artist and this album and see if you can guess who it is. So, he wrote and produced every single song on the album. He played almost all the instruments on the album, and of course, he sang all through the album. Who does that sound like?
Prince.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's somebody that was a big influence on Prince, and this is Stevie Wonder.
Yes.
My number 3 album, which could have easily been my number 1 album because I have this on vinyl, and it's a double album. I love double albums if they're awesome. And so, this is Songs in the Key of Life, which is his 18th studio album.
Dang.
And it came out in 1976. Well, he started really, really young.
Yep.
That's why
Little
he gets
Stevie Wonder.
he gets a lot of comparisons. His career with Michael Jackson's for the same reason, that they kind of evolved into something even better than they were when they were little. And so, that's Stevie Wonder's, Songs in the Key of Life. It debuted at number 1 on Billboard 200, which is at the time was only the 3rd album to do that. He had a few singles off of there. My favorite song by Stevie Wonder's on that album, but there's probably 5 or 6 songs I really love on that album, and every song is good. You can just listen to it. My favorite song by Stevie Wonder is Sir Duke. I don't know why. Ever since I was a kid, I just love the way that song
Catchy
goes.
song, yeah.
Vacant feeling all over. Vacant feeling all over me.
I Wish is another incredible song. And then, one you hear at weddings a lot, Isn't She Lovely, with the father-daughter dance. You know, with that, you know, those are some of the big songs off of that. But the album had 21 songs that were put on it. But he, similar to what Prince did with Purple Rain, he had 200 songs that he had to sort through for that album that he wrote for that album at first. Because then Prince, isn't that the story of Prince? Prince turned in like 100 songs for Purple Rain, and they whittled them down to the ones that came out on it.
And I will say this is a solid choice. Like my good friend Rod said this is his favorite album of all time. Several of our fans said this album there. I saw Stevie Wonder twice in concert, both times at Jazz Fest.
Yeah, me too.
And I think he plays Sir Duke both times. And when he plays it, it's just a catchy song, and everybody loves it.
Well, the second time I saw him, it got rained out. But he came out on stage and sang one song.
Okay.
Because it was right after Prince died. And he came out on stage and sang Purple Rain. And then he left because they weren't letting anybody go on. But he came out and sang Purple Rain.
He played his full sets at Jazz Fest when I saw
Yes,
him.
I guess he played 3 times then.
Maybe.
At Jazz Fest. I almost got to see him another time for a Super Bowl party, but the line was too long to get in.
But I'd put Stevie Wonder, let me actually just put you in a spot here. Like
Sure.
Current living American musical artist, he's on the Mount Rushmore.
Current living, yeah.
Currently, like
he has to be. He's been so influential.
Like I almost put a couple of his albums on my top of the 70s. You have this one, you have Intervisions.
And you say Mount Rushmore, and I can't even think of somebody else I'd put on there.
Well, I put maybe Bruce Springsteen.
Well, yeah, Bruce can go on there too.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Lionel Richie. Like I'm saying American, so I can't say Paul McCartney or Mick Jagger, those guys.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that can be another episode where we.
Yeah, I like that.
Where we did, but also I just want to say real quickly. I mean, I did say he played almost all the instruments on his album and all that, but even the musicians that came in to play with him, he had freaking Herbie Hancock played on a few songs and George Benson. Yeah. So even when it wasn't him, it's these world class, artists playing along with him. But yeah, if you never listened to this album, you should just put it on beginning to end and listen to the whole thing because. Just like I was talking about Led Zeppelin, the songs are different throughout. I mean, they're all soul and funk and all that, but the range of soul and funk and ballads, he just shows his range in this album, probably more so than any other album I have by him.
All right.
So.
Hey, look, I would say it's another solid pick by you. You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
You know,
for
I can
once,
easily replace my 5 with your 5 and like be happy with it.
Yeah, but we didn't get to my 2 and 1 because you might disagree with those.
I mean, so far I had every album you mentioned so far, not on vinyl, but on CD back in the day, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we're at your number 2.
Okay, so my number 2 is an artist influenced by Prince, and even their name appears on the cover of Controversy, his album, this person's name. And I'll say, so...
Ronnie? Dr. Russia?
No, so years ago, I used to have a 200 disc changer, like a jukebox disc.
Yeah.
And I remember Rolling Stone magazine came out with their top albums of all time. So I tried to get a copy of all the albums and put them in slot, Sgt. Pepper in slot 1, this in slot 2. And so I got a lot of albums that I wasn't familiar with. And this one here, I didn't know about the person too well or their music. I'll say it's a her, okay? But sure. I got her album. And by the way, it's number 3 on Rolling Stone's top albums of all time.
Oh.
And so I got it, and I really liked the album. I never knew it until, 20 years ago it was. But it's Joni Mitchell's Blue.
Okay, yeah. That's
from 1971. And like I said, it's number 3 on Rolling Stone, so it's not just me. But I really like this album a lot. Like it's kind of like she's the early, Taylor Swift.
Why'd you have to buy it? Your sisters didn't have it?
No, they were not into that. We were into disco stuff. But yeah, she's a singer-songwriter just like James Taylor, and he actually played in this album. And just a lot of things. So before any really rock pop artist opened up, like she had a lot of personal songs in here about breakups with people and things that she did, and really deep lyrics. Like listen to this song River or All I Want or Case of You or Last Time I Saw Richard. It's like poetry. And like Prince, she really influenced Prince. And so he had the word Joni written on like a headline of a magazine.
Yeah, I did. I
copy of that.
I did not know that.
So yes, a lot of acoustic instruments, her haunting voice. I really like it. When I'm going to chill out at home or whatever,
Sure.
I like a little Joni Mitchell.
What's your favorite song on the album?
I want to say River.
River? Let's listen to a little bit.
I'm gonna make a lot of money, then I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. I wish I had a river I could skate away on.
I mean, it's a good album. I don't have that one on vinyl, but I don't even know if I listened to the whole album, but I know songs off of it.
It's also a song you could play at Christmas. It's a little holiday song, but it's kind of sad, like like your lover leaves you and you want to skate away in a river, get away from everything.
Is that where Prince got his depressing Christmas song from?
It's funny, like when Prince's song "The Ballad of Dorothy Parker,"
Yes.
it's kind of in Joni's style, and he mentions Joni in there. He plays a record, and it was Joni singing "Help
Sure.
Me, I Think I'm Falling." So it's a Joni Mitchell song.
And for reference, Prince's Christmas song is Another Lonely Christmas, which is another depressing
Yeah, it might be
Christmas song.
It's kind of Joni-esque.
Yeah,
so
so-
yeah, anyway, if you don't like it, give it a listen to, okay? Especially to our female fans out there. We have any?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catherine's listening. How you doing, Catherine? And
Your
Catherine's
daughter.
really going to like my next one.
Yes.
She is. Thanks.
What
That's
is it?
that's a good transition.
Yes.
Well, my next one came out in 1979. And it was, as we were talking about Stevie Wonder, he started off young. This guy started off young also.
Okay.
And then
I
this,
started off young too. We all did. Sorry.
except for Ben Buttons.
Yeah.
But anyway, at this point in this album, kind of showed that he's mature now. He's not the little dude that he was. So it's a dude, and this really kicked off the second part of his career, I believe, away from his brothers, away from his dad, which his dad still said, if you're going to make this album, it can't interfere with the family. With the family
Okay.
business, which was singing and
I
dancing.
think I know it.
What is it?
It is Michael Jackson, "Off the Wall."
Yes, Off the Wall. And I had this on CD, and I listened to it so much. I know every single song on this album, which
Okay.
is one of the things. I'm not saying I loved every song on this album, but I know if I hear it, I can sing along with it. So it was a departure from the Jackson stuff. It was a really big breakthrough for him, and he had 2 #1 singles off of this. You know what they are?
Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and
Yep.
Rock With You.
And Rock With You.
I'll rock with you all night. Dance you into the sunlight. I'll rock with you all night. Gonna rock the night away.
And 2 other top 10 hits, which he was the first artist to ever have 4 songs in the top 10 off of the same album. And he was disappointed in how the album was received. I'll get to that in a second. But those other 2 songs were Off the Wall, the title track,
Yeah.
and She's Out of My Life.
She's Out of My Life. Okay.
Yeah. So both of those were in the top 10 too, also. And just like all the albums I already talked about, there's a big variety of music in this one, which Michael Jackson does in a lot of his music. There's R&B, funk, some disco pop, because this was sort of the end of the disco era, which some think may have hurt the album because there's a lot of backlash against disco, and this has some disco tunes on there. Don't Stop Till You Get Enough.
Let me ask you this: is this his best album in your eyes?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is. I like this better than any of his other albums.
And we're saying that because, in case you don't know at home, the biggest album of all time is Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah.
And so you're saying this is better than Thriller.
Yeah, I think it's better. I mean, I like Thriller, and I know every single song on Thriller also. It might be in the time of my life where I start listening to this one.
Yes.
It's just ingrained in me so much. But he had the ballads and soft rock. He had all those things. But also, this is when we realized that Michael's not a little boy anymore, because he starts, singing with all his grunts and squeals and hiccups and moans, and he starts, grabbing himself when he's singing. It's like, oh, wow, I'm not going to say he's a man, but, he's not that little boy anymore with the things that he's singing about and the way that he's acting. So, but as I was saying, Michael Jackson was upset about how well it did. He thought he should have done better. He didn't win. He only won 1 Grammy for that, and he's like, that can't happen again. I need to do better. So my next release is going to be better. And so what did he do? What was his next album? The number one or 2 selling album of all time.
Yeah, I give it number 1. I don't count the Eagles' greatest hits.
Yeah. And in case you don't know, Eagles' greatest hits and Michael Jackson's Thriller actually go back and forth to this day because
Yeah.
they're so close as the number 1 album ever. So I'm not sure which one is number 1 right now, because they, every few years one of them outsells the other one.
Yep.
And the Eagles are still touring, so maybe that helps. Are they
Yes.
still touring?
I don't know.
I know in 1989 they announced that this is their last tour, and they were still touring.
Yeah, they still get back together every now and then.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my
All right.
number.
Solid choice.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I never got, I'll say that, I never got on Michael Jackson's first album, or whatever, in the 70s. I'll say this too, so I was born in 71. Sorry, listeners out there, if you don't know. And I'll say, so far, none of these albums, I didn't get into Bruce Springsteen until...
You don't look a day under 72.
Yeah, thank you. My Bruce Springsteen, I didn't get into later. I didn't get into Prince until after Purple Rain. I got into Prince and got into his back catalog.
Sure.
Meatloaf I was into when it came out because my parents had it. I listened to 2 out of 3 Ain't
Well, that's
Bad.
ironic because I was into Prince back then, and I didn't pick Prince.
All right, I was not.
I had an older brother.
Joni Mitchell Blue, I didn't know that until my 30s.
Sure.
Much later because of the Rolling Stones thing. And also my number 1 album. I knew one song off it when it came out, but I didn't know it till I bought my friend Kurt the CD for Christmas in the 90s, and he talked about how great it was. So I got it, and it became one of my favorite albums of all time, and I call it my Desert Island album. If I'm stranded on a desert island, I want this album. It's kind of cheating because it's a double album.
Well,
But
mine's a double album too, but mine's Sign of the Times by Prince.
Yeah, well, that's my other one too. Yeah, so it's Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Oh no.
Oh no.
No. I mean, oh, yay, The Wall.
Yeah, I really like this album, and it's hard to listen to. It's a concept album. It's probably like the original.
I'm surprised you listened to it so many times without killing yourself.
No, it's not about that, man. You gotta listen to it.
You sound like you're from the 60s, though, now, man.
No, man, it's not just an album. It's an experience. It combines storytelling, musicianship, production in a way that defines creative peak of the 70s rock music and remains timeless.
You're not using your narrator voice.
Because I'm saying this is from the
This is
heart,
from the heart.
man. It topped the U.S. chart for 16 weeks, but it really is a rock opera. It's about this character named Pink, right? He's a jaded rock star, and like he builds a wall of isolation. And there's a movie about it as well. And so you watch it. The movie's odd. The movie's really strange, but it fits the album. Like the album, there's a few songs in there that are you can listen to by themselves. Like of course, Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2, is a great song. Everybody knows.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control.
Right, Comfortably Numb, Run Like Hell. These are songs that people know. Mother is a great Pink Floyd song. But if you listen to it from start to finish, the whole album, it puts you in a mood, man.
Yes.
All
yes.
right.
Okay. So I'm just going to jump the gun on our worst albums just because it'd be better for us to talk about it here now. Because my second to worst
You
album
did not put Pink
is
Floyd
Pink
The Wall.
Floyd The Wall.
All right.
Yeah, so as he already told you, it's a rock opera and about disconnect between artists and fans, which I think a lot of fans felt a disconnect from Pink Floyd because of that album. Of course, they had The Wall, and remember earlier I was talking about there's another album that had just one big monster song, and
Yes.
and the rest of the album just really didn't hold up that much. And I was referring to Andy's favorite album, Pink Floyd, The Wall. I hope I don't get stranded on an island with you because
What about Comfortably Numb? That's a
don't
good
even wanna-
song.
I don't even want to. I've never really, and honestly, when I talk about my bottom ones, it's bands mostly that I didn't like anyway. And I've never been a big Pink Floyd fan. And so, and I only know of course I know Comfortably Numb, and I probably know more songs than an average person.
Yeah.
But still, I just never liked it. It was, this was Roger Waters' baby. It's kind of like he put everybody else in the band in the background.
Yes.
And it was all about him, so it really was a disconnect from what people were expecting from Pink Floyd at the time.
Did
It was
you
so depressing. Oh, I looked at a bunch of websites
Yeah,
just to
find out what's wrong with it?
Well, I had my opinions on what was wrong
Yeah.
with it, but I had to find some people that we call this affirmation. That's kind of evidence I was looking for, things that affirmed the way that I was thinking. So some listeners thought. Hold up. Some listeners thought the album was excessively long, with many tracks feeling like filler or repetitive, particularly on the second disc. They said it's self-indulgent and depressing themes. The relentless, dark, and self-pitying exploration of themes like alienation and depression can be seen as a boring journey into excess. And the way that I see it is that at this point, Roger Waters thought a whole lot of himself.
You just lost one fan.
Who's that?
Kurt Landry. This is his favorite band of all time, and he plays like The Wall start to finish all the time in his headphones and listens to it and to chill out. It's my number one from the 70s.
Chill out. To
Yeah.
chill out. That's what you listen to. I got maybe Joni Mitchell to chill out or something. But
You gotta listen to it.
Pink
man.
Floyd.
Have you seen the movie?
What's that? Yeah, I've seen it. I've
Yeah.
been to like the laser shows and all that stuff. I just don't like Pink Floyd. Maybe he's drinking or something, that really helps him enjoy it a little more. But most of my albums I can listen to sober.
So I'm gonna say this too. I guess
I'm just kidding, Kurt. Don't get mad at me.
unless your number one is Dark Side of the Moon, we did not include that on our list at all.
No.
No Dark Side of the Moon on there. A lot of people picked that one as our fans.
Yeah, I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to scoff at my number one too, but I don't know how you can, because I would bet most people of our age, and even to this day, people younger know a few songs off this album. We can sing every single song on this album, and it's a compilation album.
Okay.
And it came out in 1978, and it's by the same guy who produced the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, which you mentioned, but that's easily one of the biggest albums of the decade at the height of disco and all that. This is not a disco album. This is from 1978's movie Grease.
Yes,
This is
I've heard of that.
Grease, the original motion picture soundtrack. It sold over 30 million copies worldwide. It's one of the best-selling albums of all times, and of course, if it's that, it's one of the best-selling soundtracks of all time. Yep. Also, and those songs to this day, I hear them. I can sing all the songs. Of course, it's John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, and they're featured on most of the songs. But we also have Sha Na Na in there. We have the Bee Gees' relationship to it. Barry Gibb wrote the theme song for Grease. Frankie Valli sang it, and who was I said was a guitarist on that? Peter Frampton.
Peter
Frampton played guitar on the song. Grease.
Grease is the word.
Yeah, so Frankie Valli was of the Four Seasons, if you didn't know that. But it had some number one hits. It had Grease and You're the One That I Want.
You're the one that I want. Honey, the one that I want.
And also it won the Academy Award. It was nominated for the Academy Award for Hopelessly Devoted to You. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just here, it was worldwide. This was just a phenomenal. I mean, she's from Australia, but it was number one in England. It was number one all over the world. So, it speaks, it reminds me of my childhood. And I'll tell you, when I DJ even to this day, even if it's people college age right now, if you play some of those Grease songs, they know those Grease songs. And they're still singing them. So, I don't know how many people are singing Comfortably Numb still, but
teenagers, people in their 60s.
It's happy too. This is the opposite of yours. This is happy.
What? I don't think it's happy at all.
Come on, tell me more.
Think about it.
Come on, it's
Danny
automatic.
lied to his friends about her. He misled her the whole time.
The music I'm talking about, but even then,
and then he makes her change her persona in the movie. Like, you got to change to become a bad girl in order for me to like you. Then they fly off in a car. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find
you're trying to find things to pick at.
I'm trying to be a contrarian here to the list.
Okay, so and this is just sort of a male perspective on this. Do you like the early Sandy or the leather Sandy?
Well, the leather Sandy was only for the last song.
Wait. Tell me about it, stud.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the innocent Sandy.
Yeah, I think I do too. And when I was DJing, I found this on vinyl. It was an import, and it was the Grease Mega Mix. And I started playing that in the clubs, and I'm talking, this is the mid-'90s or late '90s. I'm playing it, and the whole place is going wild, and it's all sing-along. I could bring it down and have them, tell me more, all that kind of stuff. And I think that's what even solidified knowing how popular and how much of a cultural force Grease was. That was my number one. My number one was Grease, the soundtrack, and your number one was The Wall.
Well, yours is a solid choice, but your soundtrack, your number one, has some filler, too. Some of those Sha Na Na songs or those things.
Well, I like every song on that album except for maybe Beauty School Dropout.
What?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it slowed it down, and I don't know, it's a girly song, I guess, that back then I didn't really relate to.
Yes.
So then were you a Beauty School Dropout?
No, I didn't pick that one either. Sandy.
Okay, so now we're going to go to the bottom.
These are the worst. These are the worst.
So my first album on the bottom, the worst list, is an album by the wife of a Beatle. I'm going to give some teasers away.
Okay.
So...
Wings?
Yes. So John Lennon and Yoko Ono both released an album of the same title, Plastic Ono Band, in the early 70s. And I loved his album. His album was really good and raw, and her album was terrible. I'll say this first off, too. My bottom three albums, I don't know them that well.
Sure.
I don't own them. I didn't buy them. I didn't listen to them. because I could tell they're bad. So Yoko Ono on this album, it's basically an album of her screaming, wailing, and it's not structured melodies or lyrics. It's not a record you enjoy as much as endure. Right, but John Lennon liked her. He gave her, the album to make. So she made her album terrible, his album almost in my top 5. And by the way, we didn't really mention this. So the Beatles broke up in 1969.
Yeah, so
They released a lot of great albums in the 70s. Band on the Run.
Let It Be. Was it Let It Be in the?
Let It Be was
70?
Their album, 1970. Their album.
Yeah.
But they recorded in 69. That's why I didn't. They broke up in 69. But a lot of solo albums by George Harrison, All Things Must Pass.
Sure.
John Lennon, Imagine was in the 70s. Like I said, Paul McCartney, one of the top selling artists in the 70s. But
Really?
yeah, so anyway, one of my bottom ones, there you go, is Yoko Ono. The Plastic Ono Band is the album.
And all I know about that is, I don't think I've ever listened to a song, but I've heard people make fun of it. And it's just that, is that, I hope that wasn't offensive. Is that
pretty much it.
offensive?
It's offensive, but probably accurate.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about that.
Yes.
So my number 2, and actually I own this one.
Oh.
This is my number 3. My number 3
Yes.
worst. And because I already talked about it.
What?
My number 3 is the same as my number 5 best. It's Nevermind the Bollocks. Here's the Sex Pistols from 1977. And there's a reason why I like it.
Can you do
for
that?
what it did. And the reason why I think it's overrated is pretty much because a producer, Malcolm McLaren, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I was trying to hold back on some of the things I was saying. He put them together as probably one of the first boy bands. Jackson 5, of course, the boy band too. But so he kind of created them. Not that these were a bunch of church-going, straight-up kids beforehand. No, they were probably gutter punks and living that lifestyle, that punk lifestyle. But he got them together, and as you said earlier, they weren't very good musicians, if they could be considered musicians at all. So it was really all put together. Their image was put together by Malcolm McLaren. The stunts, like when the BBC refused to play "God Save the Queen," they refused to play it. They said it was offensive or whatever. And the Queen was doing something on the riverfront. There's some big ceremony, and they rented a big barge with speakers and went right by it. That's a Malcolm McLaren stunt. So that's another reason with that. And of course, we're talking about their music. And I think it was more about the image and what they stood for and the ways they were acting, more than, or just as much as the music. And I told you I like the songs. I mean, I listen to them. I have it on vinyl.
Our listeners, you tricked us. You can't have a song be the best, an album be the best and the worst.
Some of the reviews were saying that they're a manufactured band, which is a huge sin. If you don't have authenticity, if you're a punk, you got to have authenticity, or you're not a punk when you do it that way. They were probably all punks, and they probably just sat around, screamed and cursed a lot anyway. But they were manufactured. So that's why I have them as overrated, because I feel a lot of people don't know that they were manufactured.
I hope they're not listeners of this podcast. They may get mad at you.
Yeah, and you don't get Johnny Rotten on your bad side. But hey, I'm not so worried about Sid Vicious.
No, too soon.
All right, so that was my number 3. Let's go to your number 2.
My number 2 worst album. I don't own this. I just knew one of my favorite bands of all time, my guilty pleasure, is the Monkees. I like the Monkees a lot, and they had a lot of good albums, a lot of good songs, all within a 5-year period.
Another manufactured band.
Another manufactured band, which I don't mind that.
Oh wow,
that sound good.
I'm sitting there saying that they're the first boy band, one of the first boy bands in hell. The Monkees are one of the first boy bands.
Yeah, from 66, 67 when they first got together. But so this album's called Dolenz, Jones, Boyce, and Hart, and it's not really a Monkees album. It's like the time of
because
disco
where's Nesbitt and Torque?
York, it was only Mickey Dolenz and Davy Jones. So Michael Nesmith and Peter Tork, half the band, were not in this, and they were a band. They did play instruments by this point. They played stuff. They wrote some songs.
And of course, Davy Jones played the tambourine.
Exactly, he's the best tambourine player out there.
Hey.
So it's not that it's not a listenable album, but it feels manufactured. It's dated. By 76, stuff that happened in 66 was not the same. People grew. So yes, it wasn't the original Monkees, and the album is not good.
I don't know that album.
And neither do I. I looked at Wikipedia. I looked at Wikipedia. I'm like, all right, what songs were in the album? What's the track listing? Because I have a lot of Monkees' greatest hits, and none of their really hits were on this album. No songs are really recognized. And I love the Monkees. So you know.
Yeah. So this is my number one because I already did my number two.
All right. So number 2, repeat, was Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Was Pink Floyd, The Wall.
My number one best.
And this one might upset the same group of people. I don't know. Yeah, might upset the same group of people because this is a band I never liked. Honestly, I did play some of their songs when I DJ'd, but I would never sit in my car and listen to any of their songs. Yeah, I just can't see myself doing that. And the band is Kiss, and the album is Destroyer from 1976. I just think Kiss overall is overrated.
My friends love Kiss.
They're a give. I mean, I'll admit they can play any instrument better than I can.
Yes.
But musicians look at that and they look at what they wrote and how it's basic. Kiss is a basic band, and I challenge your friends: is Kiss really a hard rock band? Because they're a pop band. Wait, let me find this quote that I found. It's pretty cool.
You find the quote, but my friends dressed up as Kiss for Halloween.
Of course,
they had all Kiss's albums in the 70s.
Of course,
at the time, I mean, they were kind of metal. They were tough. They were like original Bon Jovi and Def Leppard and Motley Crue.
Well, this one critic said they're not a metal band. They're a pop rock band who wear devil space suits.
I like that. Yeah, that's a selling point to me.
Oh, and I'm not saying no. Hey, that might make them more marketable. That might make them geniuses of marketing and making all of this money. But you know what? We're deciding on their music and if they're overrated and if this album is overrated. But what I do love about this album is Kiss's. Yeah. But Kiss's most popular song, and I don't even think it's arguably, I think it's their top chart. It is definitely their top charting song.
Yep.
Was a ballad and wasn't even sang by Gene Simmons. You know what it is?
Drummer? Yeah. Peter Criss sang.
Sang Beth. Yeah. Oh, and actually, I have another critique here saying that how horrible the drummer is. If you listen to their live album, he does his solo. They've seen 12-year-olds do better solos. But regardless of that, Peter Criss, the cat. See, I know Kiss.
All right.
The cat. Their number one song. Now, I think Gene Simmons to this day is kind of hurt, with that he doesn't have their top charting song. I think it went to number 6 or 7. Number seven.
Let me say this, because I like Kiss. I'm not a huge Kiss fan, but I like some of their songs. But I didn't really know their albums too much. But I just looked up this album. Besides Kiss, they have Detroit Rock City, one of their best songs.
Yeah. Huh.
They have Shout It Out Loud, one of their best songs. Do You Love Me? So several of these songs.
So their songs are gimmicks, just like their costumes.
Yeah. The kick butt gimmicks, like great sounding gimmicks. I'm gonna put this as my top album of all time.
Okay, but I'm saying overrated. So I mean, granted, I don't like Kiss, and I'm not saying that this is probably the worst album ever. I'm just saying I think Kiss as a band, and so thus them as a band and any of their albums, they're overrated. People think too much of Kiss as musicians, and particularly this album. And I think it's because they're a gimmick.
Well, that's a good segue into my worst album.
Is it?
If you're ready for it.
Yeah, I was going to play some Kiss, but I don't want to subject anybody to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I got to say, I think that album is not that bad. I'm sure most people probably like my worst album.
He's afraid to lose some friends. Listen to him.
I chose an Eagles album, Desperado, because I think the Eagles are overrated. Now, Desperado, just saying that word, people are like, you're wrong, because it is a good song.
Yeah.
Desperado's a good song.
What's the name of the album, too? Just like The Wall.
Yeah, listen to the tracks, or look at the tracks on the album. It's not a strong Eagles album. And it's kind of during their country music phase.
Sure.
In fact, many critics say the album tries too hard to be a Western rock opera, but lacks the depth and coherence of albums like The Wall.
They love rock operas in the 70s, huh?
Yeah. So, it has Desperado in there. It has Tequila Sunrise, which is well known.
Yeah.
Not a great song,
I thought Jimmy Buffett sang that.
You don't play Tequila Sunrise.
Yeah, no.
I don't know anybody plays a song when they're hanging out. So, yes, a lot of things here.
That's easy listening.
Yeah. I think the Eagles are an overrated band. I don't know people who really the Eagles come on.
Sure.
Turn it up.
Yeah.
Oh, keep playing it. I like that. Play this Eagles record.
I think it's the volume of songs they have. Because they have so many songs, you're going to get good songs every now and then. I love Paul McCartney, but he writes so much music. A percentage of them are going to be hits because he has some real stinkers. And I think that might be what the Eagles have too, is that they have so many songs. A good portion of them are hits.
And I'll say this, like I think a lot of I'll go with my friends or our fans.
Sure.
They have a lot of albums on the list that we listed today.
Sure.
I bet they don't have the Eagles' Desperado. They have the Eagles'
No.
greatest hits. They have
Yeah, but we didn't say, but that was our rule that we couldn't pick
Yep.
a greatest hits album. And yeah, if I listen to greatest hits, I love the Eagles.
yeah, they had the greatest hits.
Listen
and
to Desperado, I don't like them.
they may have Hotel California album.
Yeah.
They don't have Desperado album, and they'll probably admit that it's not that solid.
Yeah, well, I agree. I guess that the Eagles are overrated, in
Yes.
especially these albums, because I don't think I would buy an Eagles album, but I'd buy the greatest hits
Yeah.
because that's all I really want to hear. I'm not going to deep dive rare cuts from the Eagles.
If anybody out there has a Kiss Destroyer album, I'll take it for Christmas. Okay.
Well, but we didn't pull up our fans.
Our
what
fans?
they say. So
You got it.
The best and worst picks from our super fans. The best and worst picks from our super fans.
Well, this is what some of our fans had to say, and there's some people that we did mention here earlier. But Leo DeRocher, who is one of our super fans, and he likes Who's Next, Bitches Brew, Never Mind the Bollocks, here's the Sex Pistols, L.A. Woman, Morrison Hotel. And I did look at the Doors, and I was trying to figure out if I could put a Doors. I love the Doors, but it's another one, greatest hits.
I'll say
That's a-
60s album too.
Yeah, well, they had one in 70. I believe one of them was in 70. Morrison
Yeah.
Hotel. Morrison Hotel was in the 70s.
I'm just saying my favorite Doors albums from the 60s.
Yeah, mine too. Who Are You? The Ramones. Let It Be. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Born to Run. Led
Thank
Zeppelin 4. Damn the Torpedoes. And Outlandos de Amor. Do you know what that is?
That's from the Police.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Police had some good albums in the 70s. So look,
Yeah.
he has 2 of yours and one of mine, I think.
Yes. And the next one, Tori Trehan, he has Off the Wall by Michael Jackson. So
All right.
me and Tori have something in
do.
common. Kurt Landry, Boston's first album, Styx the Grand Illusion. That's a great album. Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell, Dark Side of the Moon, and some other one I
The
can't read
Wall.
from here.
So Kurt has 2 of mine. Leo
Okay.
has 1.
And the last one is superfan Tommy Arnold. That's my oldest brother, who I
Yeah.
keep crediting with a lot of the music I listen to, especially Prince. But he put on here Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Prince for You. Oh, Prince.
He's probably joking.
Yeah.
He is for you.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, but he means Prince, of course.
Does he?
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Tommy,
I'm
if you're
sure.
listening, call in and tell us.
Can we
what you
call
think.
in? You got our number. You got my number.
If he thinks
So-
this Prince, then he doesn't know his Prince music like I do. I'm
Yeah.
a bigger fan than Tommy is.
Let's yeah, we'll have that show. So anyway, but the Earth, Wind, and Fire, that got me because I made a list of bands that I really liked from the 70s, and I wanted to pick an album, and I was looking at the Commodores, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Gap Band, some of those, and I start looking through it, and none of their albums just had. Well, the Commodores did have the one that's just called Commodores.
Yeah.
It had Easy and Brick House on it, but it wasn't big enough to make my top 5. But I love those bands, that whole genre, and I guess I love it because I listened to it when I was little. So, but anyway, you got some other super fans?
I was gonna say no. Like some of the ones we like, the 70s were so solid. Like here are some top ones that we didn't put. We didn't put Fleetwood Mac Rumors.
Yeah.
We didn't put any Bob Dylan. Blood in the Tracks was a huge one. We didn't put, like I said, any solo Beatles one. Rolling Stones had some classic albums. And
Sure.
The Clash is always listed as the Clash. London Calling is always on top of some list, top albums of all time.
Casey and
We
the
didn't put
Sunshine Band.
No KC.
No Casey. No B. We didn't put the Bee Gees.
No Bee Gees. No Andy
Yeah,
Gibb.
we
no
just got
Donna Summer.
we got one G. We got from
Yeah.
Greece.
Like he put Elton John. We didn't have Elton John. No David Bowie. So yes, we didn't have any Barry Manilow.
No, and it's really an impossible task because there were so many ones that I had honorable mentions. I mean, I started with a list
Me
of probably
too.
about 30 or 40, and I had to whittle it down by counting tracks and just running it through different categories for myself.
Billy Joel the Stranger.
I didn't have Prince on mine, so that just shows you where I was.
Yes.
But
Well,
anyway,
it was good.
so I believe our next show that we're going to do is going to be Halloween themed. So check out the the social media, and we'll let you know what it is. But because Halloween's coming up, and I'd like to do themed to get more hits, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stay
Maybe
tuned.
the
It could
top
be
80s albums then next.
it could be. No, we're going to get to those. I don't want to do
All right.
them all in a row because we'll lose some people.
Yes.
Some people want to hear about candy or movies.
That's true, yes. Top
TV.
Halloween candies. All right.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I can get on board.
All right, but that's all we have for this time. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Check out our social media and our website. And of course, share this with your friends because we're hoping that we double from 10 to like 20 listeners next week.
Yes, 20 is our goal.
All right, thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
That's it for this week. The top and bottom list by Lance and Andy. Full episodes here on Spotify. Thank you, like and subscribe. Please check out our website